Hello Stampers, welcome to Make a Card Monday. Today I am going to show you how to make this super cute, I guess we can call it a patchwork card because it kind of looks like a patchwork quilt the way it's done up. So I just sat down a little bit ago and made up a few of these and have decided that I'm going to use them as my swap card on my Alaskan cruise incentive trip that I have coming up. So I thought, well, as long as I'm going to use them, I'll make a video and teach you guys how to use them too. So are you ready to get started? Well, let's do it. So the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to decide on some designer series paper, okay? And you're going to need 5 different designs. And what I did is I just picked the new in color designer series paper that's 6x6 and thought, well, there's 5 colors, so that's perfect. So I cut each of my pieces into 3 by 4 1/4. Now the size itself doesn't really matter. You can do it in a couple of different sizes. I have also done it. Oh, these are 3 by 4 1/4. Nope, these are not quite. These are more than 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. So it really doesn't matter what size as long as it's rectangle shape. Okay, I happened to pick 3 inches as going this way because I wanted to be able to get 2 of them out of a 6x6 sheet of designer series paper. So that was my only thinking. So I've gone ahead and I've cut these 5 pieces, like I said, 3 by 4 1/4. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of use this as a template. And I'm just going to cut my pieces. Now, when I first learned how to do this from my good friend Sue, she actually made up a pattern for us. But of course, I can't find my pattern. And so I just use these that we had made when I was with her as my pattern for doing it as my sample. Okay. So what I'm going to do, okay, got my pieces of paper and I've got all of them stacked here together because I want everything to fit perfectly together. And I'm going to start down here and I'm just going to cut a diagonal up here. So I'm just going to go about right there and I'm going to try to keep my pieces lined up and I'm just going to cut a diagonal just like that. Okay, now I'm going to lay this right over here, okay, to follow along with my pattern. Now the next piece I'm going to cut is this line going right down here. So again, make sure my pages are all lined up and I'm just going to kind of go across and cut it just like that. Okay, so now that's going to fit just like that. The next one I want to do is this line that goes across here. Okay, so I'm going to go from here up to there. So this piece goes right there. Then with this one, I'm just going to do this line right here. So I'm going to go from here up there like that. Okay, so there I have, that corner goes there and that goes just like that. My paper cut into my 5 pieces. Okay, now to get it ready to put on my card, I'm going to go ahead and lay them out so that each layer is a different card. Okay, so this one has red on top, so I'm going to leave it just like it is. Okay, then I'm just going to randomly pick a section and I'm going to take piece number 1 and put it on the bottom. Okay, then I'm just randomly going to pick another piece and I'm going to take piece 1 and piece 2 and put it on the bottom. Then randomly pick another one, 1, 2, 3 on the bottom. And then my last one, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bottom. So you will see basically what I've done is I've just gone through and made sure that one of each of the designs or the colors is on top. Okay? The next thing you want to do is you want to get some Whisper White cardstock and you're going to do 5 of these and they are going to be the exact same size, which is 3 by 4 1/4. Okay? I'm going to take them one at a time. I'm going to use my Tombow glue, okay, because I want room. I really like the Tombow glue because you can put your piece of designer series paper down and you have a few seconds to adjust before it holds on tight, okay? So I'm just going to start up here in this corner, okay? going to take my Tombow glue and I'm just going to put it on the back, but I want to make sure I get it into all of my corners, okay? That is going to be important because you don't want your corners pulling up on any of these. This is this top corner up here, so I'm just going to line it up and put it right there like that, okay? Next, I like to come down to this piece. Again, I'm going to put the adhesive on the back, make sure it goes in all the corners, and I'm going to line it up and put it right down here. Now I will see on this one that in order to line those up, I left a little bit of white down here. That's okay, we can trim it, but just be sure you leave the white across all the way. Now you would think you would go to the next corner and do it, but I found when I went to the corners and did it, let me show you a sample. Nope, it's a sample over here. Then I ended up with white space, okay? And I didn't want that. So I start on one side and work my way across. So this piece is going to be my next one. I'm just going to put adhesive, make sure it's in all the corners. And I'm going to butt it up like that. Okay. Next, I want to do this piece down here in this corner. Again, put my adhesive on all the corners. Going to line it up here. Okay, again, I've got my white along the bottom here, and that's okay. Then I'm going to take my final piece, get my adhesive in all the corners, and I'm going to put it on just like that. Now, you will see I went a little crooked, and again, that is fine. All I want to do is trim up my edges. Okay, so I'm going to take my really good scissors, and I'm just going to trim a bit here so that I get my white off of there. And I'm going to go here. You can also put this in a paper trimmer and do it if you want to be more sure that it's perfectly straight. Okay, then that is it. That is it for the first one. So then you put it aside and you bring out your next white piece of paper, and you're going to start up here in the corner and you're going to do it all over again. Oops, take my lid off my glue. It'll probably help a little bit better. Put the adhesive, be sure it hits all my corners. Lay that just like that. Come down here to this bottom. Adhesive in all the corners. Do this piece next so that they're butted up against each other. This one down here. And finally this top corner piece. We're going to put it on just like that. Okay, again, I have a little bit hanging over the edge. That's okay. Take your scissors. I like to use my good, thick, heavy pair of scissors. And I'm going to trim down my white. My piece like that. And then you just keep going, okay? There are 3 more layers under here, and I've got 3 more pieces of white, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to continue doing those, okay? Now I will bring my sample cards back into the picture here. What I did is I then went and mounted them on a slightly bigger piece of black cardstock, okay? So the border piece or the matte piece back here is going to measure 4.5 by 3 1/4. Okay. Oops, let's keep that in that pile. When I did this little piece down here, okay, what I did for that is I just took some Whisper White cardstock, took my Memento stamp pad, and I used the Just a Note stamp, and that is from the Flourishing Phrases stamp set. Okay, so just a note. I thought that was cute and looked like it should go on a cute note card like this. Then I am going to actually use this label punch and punch it out. And the first time I did that and laid that on my card, I thought, oh, you know what? That's a little blah. It needed a little something else. So then I realized I could take my 1 3/4 inch circle punch punch a circle from my black cardstock. And when I put some adhesive back here and put this down, then it goes and it mats perfectly right there. So it just kind of highlights the circle part of it a little bit. And then I thought it stood out a lot better on my card. So there you go. That is how we make the patchwork card. I hope you enjoy it. If you make some samples, please pop me a picture of them, stick them on in my Facebook page or whatever. I'd love to see what other kind of samples you guys come up with. Also, I just wanted to show you again, this was some other Retired Designer Series paper. I think this is the Daisy paper that we had in our last catalog that we used. There's just so many possibilities of what you could do with this that I hope you have fun. Thanks for joining me.